Now, how do you get the cost amount for the product ID 4, which you can refer from the products table right here. So this is a table, all the products table, and then we can convert it to Excel table by pressing Ctrl T. And my table has header, which is appear here. Click OK. And go to the top, you can change the name to table products, so it's easier to refer. And then we can come to the table, the transaction table, and we key in a VLookup function. At this point, press the Tab key. So notice that it autofill for you. Then you select this item here, then you comma, and then table, and what is the column that we want, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 6. Okay, so let's go back here, remove this, press the delete key, right, press 6, and then for force type we use the 0 to represent that, and that's the $1.64, and then we double click. Now notice that it takes a while to fill it, and the VLookup actually fill up for many rows. Okay, it depends on how it's the size of your file. Okay, so and you got to do it for many other columns, so it will be consist of if you take a closer look, right, this is 182,000 rows, so times 2, that is like 200,000. I mean, you can say 400,000 cell that has a VLookup function. So you can imagine that this file is going to be grow into very big size, will be grow into very big. So how do you deal with this differently, right? Is that we say goodbye to VLookup and we welcome merge query. Okay, again we say goodbye to VLookup and we welcome merge query. So to use merge query, we also change this transaction table, give it a name, and then we go to the data tab, turn to from table range, okay. In fact, we don't really need this first. This will calculate it in a short while, right? So now I just load it back to look as a connection. Okay, only connection, and we do the same for products. Click on data tab, from table or range. Close, close and load to. Only create connection. Click OK. And now we come over to the query and connections and double click on the table transaction. Okay, so let's say I don't need this. I just select all this column first and remove the columns. And I don't need the custom ID in this case, just remove it. As for transaction date, I want to make it as a date type. Okay, now I'm going to merge query. Okay, merge query. So this is the table we want to write the VLookup function, right? And then here is the fact data. It's got a product or the reference table in your VLookup function. So now I'm going to select this item and then click on the product ID. So this is like creating a relationship, and so I want everything from the left outer, all from the left. This is the left. On the top one is the left, and matching with the second one. So 4, 11, 12, and then click OK. And then we have a new table here. And look at this here. It basically gives you that row that matching this item. See? And now I'm only interested in the cost. So the cost is this one. So I don't need to count which row is it. I just need to click here, uncheck all this, choose the product cost. And I don't want to use the original, just unselect it, click OK, and look at that. That's the product cost. Now we can do the same for price as well. So let's go back to, so close this step, right? Go back to the earlier step. I want a similar step here, so I want to the cost. I want the price. I also want the product brands. So it depends which one you want, right? Let's just click OK, and I'm good to go. And if I want, I can just select these. If I want the product price, also can, but I think that's just great. So I'm ready to close and load. Again, I have the options to close it as a connection or the other way. So I'm just close and load as a connection. Okay, and then I right click, just load it to, just to show you that it can load into Excel or as a worksheet. Right? Okay. Okay, so you can see that everything is there and there is no a single VLookup function there. So your files will be very small. The file size will be very small without the heavy VLookup function that occupy few hundred thousands of cells. So that is very heavy. So now with VLookup, it's very easy, right? If you don't need to show this as a what do you call that? You don't need to show on the worksheet itself, then you can actually load into a connection. Okay, with this one, you can now go to summarize with pure table. Again, I just click a new worksheet, and I want to know that by transaction, let's see what we get. Alright, I don't need the date, and by the, oh, perhaps I need another thing, which is called the revenue. So to get the revenue, I go back to the step here. I double click on transaction. And then I have the price times the quantity, right? So now to do that, I just need to highlight these two, add column, multiply, and I'll have a new table right there. And I don't even need to times the times, right? Now I just change it to revenue. And I can do the same for quantity and cost. Again, add columns, multiply, and then just what I call total cost. Let's go back to Home tab, close and load. It's now give me a new calculated column. There you are. Go back to the sheet 1 here, right click, refresh. Now just take a look here. Yeah, so at the moment we don't have the new item, but we can just do that by right click, refresh it, and we have the total revenue. Okay, let's just click this revenue over here, right click, sorting largest. So that's the largest month, yeah, but that's not really good to go. Okay, so I right click, choose number format, choose number, use the dozen separator but 0, click OK. So July, oh, something wrong with July is late. Okay, all right, something wrong with July, so we're gonna figure it out. Then next is that you can also have a total cost as well, and maybe we can look at the brand. Okay, so we can talk the months. You can drag here, you drag the brands here, and there's my brand here. And if I don't want a month, I can drag it out here, and I can choose because there are so many brands here. So I'm interested in what is the top 10 brands. So I click on the value filter and I choose top 10 brand, and that is the top 10 brand items. Okay, let's just click OK. This is my top 10 brands, and there's this. Okay, now I can just drag my months here to December. Alright, so this clearly some issue here, right? Let's just double click here. What really happened here? Robust. So on this particular date, the quantity is superb, but what is this row about? I don't know where's this row, so I'm going to change that. How do I identify that? Well, no problem, just double click here. If you forgot anything, people identify which row is that, right? You have no idea, but that's okay. You just go to add column, index, and that column from row 1, right click, move it to the beginning, and just go home, close and load. Now it's going to have a new column as generated. Alright, let's go back here. Right click, refresh, and again let's just double click on this. 71 is that causing the error. Row 71. Let's come back to that. Shit, row 71. Let's go back here, change it to just type 71. No, I just want 71. Okay, so the quantity here is something wrong with it, right? Now we identify the culprit easier. So thank you for watching. I hope in this video you learn how to say goodbye to VLookup and welcome merge query. And merge query can really help you to do multiple VLookup at the blink of an eye, blinking eye, right? So fast, right? You can see that this is a merge query. So you can always examine the step, right? Just double click here. You should be able to see that's merge query. So to do that merge query, go to merge queries and choose one of them here, and then after that you expand that. If you want to add a few more, you can always come back to the step and double click and choose a few more items that you want. Maybe you say I want a product weight, you can always do that, and then make sure that if you don't want the column name, just remove the column name. And also if you want to do a multiply, you have a very handy tool. Just go to add column, choose the standard, so make sure you select the items that you want, select at least 2 columns, then you can use the standard multiply. So there are other options you can use like divide, subtotal, modulo, percent off. So then you can rename it. You can also add an index, just like what I show you. Like if you want to identify which row has the cause the error, you can always go to add column, choose this, and choose from 1 or from 0. So good. So I hope in this video you really learned this few key concept of Power Query. God bless you. God bless Asia. And I thank Jesus for giving me this share.